Hello and welcome to the second part of this tutorial on using loops. In this scenario, we'll focus on how to use the for each loop in UiPath Studio. The for each activity works by iterating through a list of items, one item at a time, and executing whatever actions are in the body of the activity. Let's see it in action. We have the following business scenario. The PDF files from a given folder need to be renamed so that the file name ends with the current date. To solve this scenario, we'll create a workflow that asks us what folder we want to process, then, for each file in the folder, saves the name to a variable, adds the current date to the value, then prints it in the output panel and changes the name of the file. Let's get started. We'll create a new sequence, name it Rename Invoices, and add an annotation. We'll add a select folder activity in order to let the user choose the folder which will be processed. This activity opens a dialog box, prompting the user to select a folder and saves the input to a string variable. Let's create a variable for the output and rename it Folder Path. Next, we want to get the file names and store them in an array variable. Let's create an array of strings variable and name it Invoices Array. Now, let's drag an assign activity. We'll name it Assign Invoices Array. We'll use this activity to get the file names from the folder and store them in Invoices Array. To do this, we'll enter Invoices Array in the toInput field and use the directory .getFile vb.net method. Now, we want to loop through the elements of the array. For each element, we want to add the date to the name, log the result, and then change the name of the file in the folder. Let's start by adding a for each activity. The first thing that you need to do when using a for each activity is change the type argument from object to the specific one that you will use, in our case, string. Next, we'll enter the name of our array variable in the input field and change the item to file name. Now, let's add an assign activity. We'll use this activity to change the names of the elements in the array and store them. But before we can do that, we need to create a new variable of type string. Let's call it new file name. Let's give the assign activity a descriptive name and add our new variable to it. To modify the values, we'll use the replace now and toString vb.net methods. This expression will add the date at the end of the file name. Let's use a log message activity to display the new file name in the output panel. And finally, let's rename the file by using the moveFile activity. This activity moves a file from a specified location to another. In our case, the path is the different file name. Let's give the activity a descriptive name. Next, we'll enter file name to the path input field and new file name to the destination input field. Let's save and run the workflow. You can see the new file names are logged in the output panel. And here they are in the folder too. And this concludes our lesson on the for each loop. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.